Thank you. And welcome everybody to our May 25th, 2021 Verona Public meeting for the Board of Education. We're calling the meeting to order and it is 7:02. If everyone will please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Reading of meeting notice. This meeting is being conducted in compliance with the open meeting session that the Verona Board of Education passed a resolution at its annual reorganization meeting held on January 5th, 2021. The meeting set forth the schedule of its regular meetings, which resolution was within 7 days of passage. The schedule was sent to the Verona Cedar Grove Times, the Star Ledger, the Township of Verona, and the BEA. Postings of this meeting setting forth the time, location, and agenda were posted at the Verona Board of Education office and on the Verona Public Schools District website. The Verona Board of Education operates under a consent agenda format. Any board member has the right to have an item pulled to be voted upon or discussed separately. Copies of tonight's agenda and resolutions have been made available to the public and press. Mr. Turner, can you please do the roll call for attendance?
Mr. Howard.
Here.
Mrs. Crappy.
Here.
Mr. Day. Mrs. Prisco.
Here.
And Mrs. Red.
I'm here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you very much. We have no presentations this evening, and we're going to go right into Dr. Dini's Superintendent Report.
Thank you, Mrs. Bresky. Good evening, everyone. I have several updates this evening for the Superintendent's Report. First, actually right now, on Salino Field. Right now on Salino Field, right behind Verona High School, on the upper field, we have the junior inductions for the National Honor Society taking place right now. So congratulations to all of our junior students as they're inducted this evening into this prestigious organization. Congratulations on all the hard work and service. The elementary spring band concerts for all 4 elementary schools have actually been rescheduled. They were supposed to be scheduled for tomorrow, but with the rain that's coming, they are actually being rescheduled for Thursday, May 27th, and those are all taking place at Manning Avenue School at 2 p.m. Mr. Bellagio, we're getting some feedback that we need to address. Okay, thank you. See if that works a little bit better. It does. Thank you. Our end of the year events, we have, of course, Verona High School commencement ceremony, graduation. We have 8th grade promotion ceremony and our 4th grade farewell. Those are all scheduled as in-person events this year in June. Our building principals and administration have been working and coordinating all the logistics with our facility and technology departments. These events and celebrations will be in person. And we'll continue to communicate more and more details as the weeks pass. And we want to be able to get as many parents and family members as possible at these events and these ceremonies. So we do know that with the evolving nature of the guidance from the governor in his executive orders, as well as from the New Jersey Department of Health, that things are getting expanded more and more with each passing week. As these changes do become public, our administrative team, our principals are working diligently to assess the situation, to be able to maximize how many people could be in attendance for these very special outings. We send district updates. When those district updates go out to the community, we also include the hyperlinks to the executive orders and to the Department of Health guidance websites. And we encourage people to go there to review those in detail. And our principals will be communicating more and more information as we get closer. And as I mentioned earlier, to try to maximize how many people could be in attendance. So please stay tuned for more details. masks in school. Mask wearing is still being strictly adhered to in schools. It is still a requirement per the governor and per CDC. We are awaiting more guidance, but at this time, mask wearing is still remaining as a requirement in our schools for our staff and for our students, regardless of full vaccination. Travel guidance, we have recently sent out the New Jersey Travel Advisory that is no longer in effect for individuals, but you can take a look at the CDC guidance regarding the difference between domestic and international travel, as well as the guidance for vaccinated versus unvaccinated people. So that information has been shared, and it went out again yesterday to our parents and to our staff. And last but not least, on the referendum, we continue to move ahead with the referendum project. Right now, we are in the stage of finalizing a couple of windows, a couple of minor windows that are going to be updated at FN Brown. HPW is 100% complete. FN Brown is about 99% complete, minus about 6 windows or so. And then the majority of the projects for this summer that we're coordinating our summer programming on around the referendum is in relation to the HVAC system at the 4 elementary schools and HPW. So ECC, Environmental Climate Control, the contractor, has been working second shift in the afternoons and being able to get a lot of the work done in the schools when school's not in session. And then this summer will be full court press to make sure that the installation is complete as we anticipate coming back to September and having all of that work completed in all of our schools. Those updates are provided weekly on our district website, and they're also part of the district weekly updates that go out. And that concludes the superintendent's report for this evening.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Giudicio. Does anyone have any questions?
Yes, Dr. Giudicio, I have a question. So seeing as the governor tends to leave school guidance to either the last minute or the last steps compared to the rest of the public, what is the district planning on doing in terms of like the heat index in our middle school and elementary schools with mask wearing? I don't know if you guys have planned that out yet or not. If you could elaborate on that, please.
Sure. So the good news is at the high school, we are full day for all of our students and our staff in person, and that's been in effect since April 27th. So regardless of what the weather is outside, the fortunate thing here is we have air conditioning in Verona High School. So we're able to maintain that climate controlled environment. A little different at the middle school and elementary school. Because obviously there is no air conditioning in those schools yet. We'll have that for next year. So we do monitor the weather closely daily, and we look at the week. And we make sure that we're taking a look to see what it looks like. Fortunately, so far, even though temperatures are continuing to climb, and they will over the next several weeks, we don't have school for most of our students in the afternoon where the temperatures are the highest. So that's helpful. If we do run into a situation where the temperatures are going to be extremely high in the morning, then we're going to explore whether or not it makes sense to do a full virtual day. We're trying to not do that if possible, because we recognize that that's going to have potential challenges for a lot of our parents. As far as, we have more and more parents who are now going to work in person. So it creates a multitude of issues. It's a little bit of a domino effect here. But we are watching and monitoring the temperatures. We do have some of our students who have been full day all year based on their educational program. In those instances, when we've already had to make adjustments for this, they're in school in the afternoon, and we have 1 or 2 warm days. We have a backup plan where we move those classes to a more comfortable environment, whether it's a different part of the building that's air conditioned or just a cooler part of the building to make an adjustment for that. So we're just going to continue to monitor it and keep our fingers crossed and hope that the weather cooperates with us, and then just play one step at a time.
So I just want to make sure I understand. So what you're saying is that if the heat does get to a point where it's unsafe for children to be in the building, a virtual day will be explored, but that's only going to be used if it's at a, do you have like a certain temperature in mind, or is it just like playing it by ear at this point?
It's really hard to say a certain temperature because it depends on what the part of the building is. We could be in a building that certain areas are more comfortable than others. You know, if you're on the second or third floor of HPW, those rooms are, or if you're on an eastwardly facing part of the building, that could be problematic. But it really is a difficult thing because there is really no set number. Because if you set a number, we may be out virtually for the rest of the year.
Right. So it's the backup plan is the virtual day, just so
For an
we can
extenuating.
be prepared for that as needed.
Right.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mrs. Jaffe. Thank you, Dr. Dinicio. Does anybody else have any comments down at that bar? I'll give it on. We're going to move into our committee reports then, and we did have a finance committee meeting. Yes.
So we met for finance committee. First, we spoke about in looking at financial projections for the rest of the year. Dr. Dinicio did is to a spending freeze for discretionary spending. And you know, when we looked at the end of the year finances, even with our ESSER 1 and ESSER 2 funds that we've received and have been allocated, our budget is still extremely tight, just due to all of the extenuating circumstances and finances we had to devote towards COVID spending throughout the year. And the way that the ESSER 1 and ESSER 2 funds work is that you can allocate it for future purchases and future needs. You can't like back pay other things you've already spent it on. And with that said, we have received an update on the ESSER 3 funds. Our application is due in November, so we are working on that. Our extraordinary aid application was submitted. Our year-end closeout is currently underway, is almost done. The filing of the tax certification was completed. And in terms of we talked about the status of our referendum, and that is running smoothly. We look like we're on target, and it's coming towards an end. Thank goodness. And that's really it. It wasn't too much.
Does anybody have any questions or comments in regards to finance? Thank you. Yeah, I think the only other thing that we spoke about was one of the questions that came up was what constitutes extraordinary aid. And extraordinary aid goes to in-district students that receive services that are in excess of $40,000 and out of district whose costs exceed $50,000. And transportation, believe it or not, is not part of extraordinary aid. So, you know, hopefully the state right now, extraordinary aid gets funded at about 52%. So hopefully they're looking at raising that number. So that would be a really good thing. So that's something that we are hoping to get some news on. Other than that, I think you did all this stuff.
Thank you.
And Mrs. Prisco did say to me that she had some stuff to add in regard to athletics.
So I received an update from Mr. Murphy on a few things, so I'd like to report out. Jack Lonsinger for lacrosse becomes the all-time leading scorer in boys lacrosse history, so congratulations, Jack Lonsinger. Drew Weiser won the Essex County Championship today in golf. Congrats, Drew. Our track and field team was crowned a number of division champions at the Essex County Championship tournament. Our girls softball team unfortunately lost in the semifinals to a tough one against Mount St. Dominic, which I believe Mount St. Dominic ended up winning against Nutley. And then last, I believe most of the sports have had their senior day, so congratulations to all the seniors and their parents on their final few weeks of the season. And last but not least, last night was Verona High School baseball rivalry game against Cedar Grove at Bear Stadium. place was phenomenal, packed. We honored our 2020 seniors from last year. We brought them back to Verona and Cedar Grove because they unfortunately did not have a season last year, so we did honor them. We also honored our 10U, which we do every year, the 10U travel Barnstormers team, but we also invited the 11U team back because they didn't have their chance to attend last year. And Pierce Capola was on the mound for Verona, and he pitched phenomenally, and he had a no-hitter up until he had to come out in the 7th because he's out of pitch count. So a lot of people were yelling because they didn't understand the rules, but there's a pitch count and he was at that. So unfortunately, he didn't get the full, but he was unbelievable. Place was great, packed. Mr. Allworth was there for the son. Pierce Capola was signing autographs at the end of the game for all the little kids. So it was a nice night to see the communities together, and everything was just back to normal. Everything was back to normal.
The place was electric.
It was
really.
great turnout. So congrats to everyone out there, Verona, Cedar Grove, Mr. Berkler, Mr. Gobrady from Cedar Grove, their AD, and also a shout out to Dawn Mulligan she's the president of our dugout club. She does a phenomenal job for them. So kudos to everyone involved. Great night.
Yeah, I'd like to give a personal thanks to both Pierce and the rest of the guys on the team. My son was on that 10U team, and they just really made it a special night for them. I haven't seen those kids that happy in a very, very long time. They were, the whole team was taking pictures with them afterward and chatting with them. And they're signing all the balls for the kids. I mean, it was just a great night, and the team made it really, really special. So big thanks to them. Really, really good.
Thank you, Mrs. Prisco. Thank you, Mr. Allworth. That's really great to hear, because even as you're reporting it, I feel the energy coming from you. So, yeah,
The whole place was like that. It was crazy.
Yeah.
It was great.
I mean, the world's coming back to life. Yeah, it's great. It is great. We're going to keep moving down our agenda, and we're open now to public comments on agenda action items to be approved. And I do not see any public comments. So we will keep moving. Are there any discussion items? Any discussion items? No? Okay, so we're going to do a roll call to vote on the resolutions. So I need a motion to move resolution number 1 through 13. Including number 13, we will be adjourning after the meeting back into confidential to discuss personnel matters.
So
Moved by Mrs. Dressing,
I'll second that.
second by Mrs. Prisco, and Mr. Turner, can you please roll call?
Mr. Allworth,
Yes.
Mrs. Drappi,
yes.
Mrs. Prisco,
Yes.
and Mrs. French.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you, everybody. And I believe we have addendum resolutions. I also need a motion to approve addendum resolutions number 1 through 5.
So
Moved by Mr. Allworth, second by Mrs. Drappi. Is there any discussion on any of the resolutions? No. So Mr. Turner, can you please do the roll call?
Mr. Allworth,
yes.
Mrs. Drappi,
Yes.
Mrs. Prisco,
Yes.
and Mrs. French.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you, everyone. And that brings us to public comments on any topic. And there are none. So our next public meeting will be held Tuesday, June 8th, beginning with confidential at 5:30 with public session at 7 p.m. here in the Verona High School auditorium. And I would encourage people to please come and show up. And with that, do you have anything else? The meeting is adjourned, and it is 7:22, and I need a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Moved by Mrs. Drappi,
Motion to go to closed session.
Motion.
You know, I did that with the general, I added number 13, so I have to do that again.
This year.
Okay, it should be done, sir.
Oh, it should be done separate. Okay, so let me rewrite that. So we are gonna go back into closed session. And we're gonna be discussing personnel matters. There will be no action taken this evening, but we do need a motion to go into closed session.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Allworth. Second by Mrs. Prisco. And can you please do a roll call, Mr. Turner?
Mr. Allworth,
Yes.
Mrs. Graffi,
Yes.
Mrs. Prisco,
Yes.
and Mrs. Murphy.
Yes.
Okay, great, thank you. So the meeting now is officially done at 7:23. And I do need a motion for that.
So moved.
Moved by Mrs. Drappi. Second by Mrs. Prisco, and all in favor, say aye.
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 We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody, and see you in 2 weeks.